Welcome back. Now that we have the transmission cross member installed, the car is ready to be taken apart and stripped down to the bare metal. Before we start that process, I'd like to take a few minutes to give you a little history on the car. This car was bought by the Hammond family right here in North Alabama at a local dealership in 1967, which the family owned up until recent years when they sold the car to Mike King. During high school, Mike King became buddies with Max Hammond Jr., so they spent a lot of time in this car together, made a lot of memories. Unfortunately, Max Jr. lost his life in Flight 175 on 9/11. We're grateful that Mike King has chosen us and put the trust in us to restore this car not only to original, but we're going to make this car better than original. We're going to take this car completely apart. We're going to disassemble every nut, every bolt, every washer, every screw. This thing will be completely apart. There won't be anything bolted left on it, as you will be able to see in future videos. We hope that you'll stay with us as we go through this process. We will take comments. We will try to answer any questions that you may have. Look forward to going through the videos in the process and sharing it with you. So thank you for tuning in and hope you'll enjoy. So before we start disassembling this car and start the process of complete restoration, there's a few things that we're going to address. One is that I pride myself in is fit and finish. What is fit and finish? Glad you asked. So fit is basically, how does the fender fit with the hood? For example, as you can see here, the fender is sticking up over the hood and does not look like you would want it to. Another example of fit is the line from the back of the hood all the way down to the front of the hood. Another example is over here on this door. You can see where the bottom of the door has got a big gap, and as the gap goes up, the smaller and smaller until it's almost touching up here. So if we know the problem is here, the ideal thing is to fix it before you take it apart, strip it down and paint it, because the last thing you want to do is try to fix that after you paint it. So it may be as simple as an adjustment. It may be as far as the panels just didn't fit perfect from the factory, but we can fix all this stuff, and now's the time to do it, not after you paint it. So stay with us. We're going to make Mike King proud and glad that he chose us to do his car, and Max's sister will be glad that Mike's got the car. So hope it's very educational to y'all. Let me know if there's something that you don't understand, you want to see specific, or you're not sure of. If I don't know, I'll tell you. If I do, I'll help you best I can. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to check the gap across the bottom of the door. I've got just a little paint paddle. If you put it here, and you can use it as kind of like a feeler gauge, you can kind of like feel the wiggle back and forth. Come back to the back, and it's about the same as the front. So that tells me that the door is lined up on the car. So when you look at the fender, this line here, this fender line, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's obviously a good close to a 1/4 inch above the door. A lot of people would say, well, we need to bring the door up. Well, if you bring the door up, think about it as a piece of cardboard, if you will. So if you bring the front of the door up, it's going to do this. It's going to open by raising the door. It's going to open this gap here, and it's going to close the gap back here. So the bottom of the door is about the only thing in the quarter here is your two constant body panels that don't move. The front fenders move. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here. We're going to loosen this fender, and we're going to bring it down. That should tighten this gap. The same opposite effect. If we bring the back of it down like this, it's going to tighten this up, and it should open this up down here and bring our body line here down even with the door. So we're going to do that, and we'll come back, and when I figure out what it takes, I'll be glad to show you. All right, as you can see, the door is flush here at the top. As you come down, the bottom of the door kicks out further and further. So what we're going to do is we're going to loosen the door hinges up here on the top. Loosen these 3 bolts. This side of the door hinge and the bolts, they operate the door in and out. If the door needs to go up or down, you loosen the hinges on this side, and it allows you to pull the top of it back or forward. So we got these loose. We'll give it a little tug that way. We'll snug this door back up. You don't have to kill these bolts right now, or just give them a little snug to keep it from moving. Then we'll close the door and see what it does. All right. So as you can see, it's helped it some. Now we got a door. Now the door sticking out a little bit at the top, all the way down to the bottom. So what that tells me is the striker needs to be pulled in, so it will pull the door in this much here, and we'll have a good fit here and here. Now, chances are, unless you do a lot of Bondo work, which some people like to, I don't, these will never be completely flush, both panels from top to bottom. They wasn't made that way. Yes, you can fill all this up with Bondo and make it and block it all one piece and go back with a hacksaw blade and cut your gaps in here and do all that stuff. I don't like a whole bunch of Bondo. Bondo is like drugs. If you use it as it is intended to, it's pretty good stuff. When you abuse it, then you understand the rest of it. So personally, I don't like to use Bondo to sculpture stuff. I like to use it as needed. So we're gonna loosen this. We're gonna loosen this striker, and we're gonna move it in, and that will bring the door in. We'll get a happy medium up and down, and it'll turn out to be good. So I'm gonna go get a big Phillips head, and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I've done is I wiped the dust off. I'm gonna take a little small piece of tape here, and this here is basically gonna tell me how far I go, because when you loosen something, you may or may not know, when you move it, you're really not, it's hard to tell what you've done. So I'll just go right up against the edge. Fat fingers is hard to do this sometimes.
No sausage fingers.
All right, with that there, these, as long as it's been tight, I'm not willing to, I've got to kind of watch what I do with my hands, because some stuff's not worth it. I got a pair of vice grips on the screwdriver and just push. Success. We got that one to turn. Got that one to turn. So we're going to loosen this guy a little bit. And like I said, with this tape here, it's not that critical. See, it has adjustment in it. And now you're like, oh wow, we went way too far. Well, don't worry, because your tape's here. So all you got to do now is come back up against your tape, and it's like, okay, well that's it. That's where it was at. So we'll go in just a hair, like right there. You can see a little gap. See a little bit of the blue right there.
No.
Yes, trust me, I can see it. And I'm blind. We're gonna bump that in. See a little blue there. We're going to tighten it so you can see a little hairline gap there and up here. So now we'll close the door. All right, as you can see, we still need to go in a little bit further. So we'll go a little bit further. So as you can see, that's a lot better. We got a nice flush there. It's nice and flush here. Here, we got a little bit of discrepancy right here on this point, but we didn't build a car. We're just trying to make it best we can. This here, I feel that this will kind of come out when we do our body work or whatever, but we're not going to fill all this up with Bondo to try to achieve our objective. So we've got that done. Now we're going to look at our other lines across the bottom and up the fender. So